Does your child say wawa for water, or gog for dog, or wabbit for rabbit?
Wide wabbit. Wide wabbit.
If you said yes to any of these, then your child probably has a phonological process. I know it's a big word. I'm using these big words, but don't worry, I got you. I'm going to break it down for you. A phonological process is basically when a child uses patterns to simplify adult speech. They're young. Their little teeth, tongues, palates, jaws, they're just trying to figure out how to work together. And that takes some time. It's basically like if they grasp the concept of work smarter rather than harder, a lot faster than we did. I'm kidding, but seriously, it just takes some time for them to be able to process those sounds in order to produce them correctly. So around age 4 or 5 is when we're looking at most of those phonological processes clearing up, with a few stragglers hanging out at the bar after
Last call!
In this video, I'm gonna lay out the 3 types of phonological processes. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I guarantee that you're going to be able to figure out which one your child has. Well, unless it doesn't exist, then you're on your own.
Okay.
The first type of phonological process is called substitution processes. And so if your brain automatically went to you back in school, back in the day in the classroom with this little old lady walking in with a VCR and a TV on a cart, and you high-fiving your friend because your teacher's not there, then you're on the right track. Well, kinda. A substitution process is basically where a group of sounds are being substituted for another group of sounds. And there are about 5 types or examples that I can give you of substitution processes. The first one is gliding. And so that's basically when the child is substituting L and R sounds for Y, W, and J sounds. Let me give you some examples. So if your child is saying whoop for rope, or pway for play, or yayo for yellow, that's an example of gliding. The next phonological process in this type is called backing. That's when a child is producing sounds that are supposed to be made in the front, in the back. So let me give you some examples. Cuck for duck, or gog for dog. The third phonological process in this type is fronting.
How is this fronting?
I know what you're thinking, but no. And that's basically where a child is producing sounds that are produced in the back and the front. So the opposite of the one I just gave you. Some examples of that would be tutti for cookie, or tar for car. The fourth one is vowelization. And so that's basically where the child is producing L and ER like O and And let me give you some examples because that sounds weird. Apple is apple. River for river. Care for care. Now that I think about it, that's how us New Yorkers talk all the time. But I digress. The fifth one in this category would be stopping. And so that's basically where a child will produce a sound that you prolong, they cut it off. So like in the S sound, they'll cut it off like T in the T sound. So let me give you some examples. Taupe for soap, puddle for puzzle. All right. Are you still with me? Okay, good. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. It really helps me to be able to make more videos like this one. The second type of phonological processes are syllable structure processes. That's basically when syllables are reduced, omitted, repeated, and downright just mistreated. And if you don't know what a syllable is, I don't know what to tell you. But what I will say is I'll make a video on it. You can thank me later. The first one in this type is cluster reduction. So a cluster is when there is more than one consonant together. And so for this type of phonological process, the child will omit or remove one of the consonants. Some examples of that would be top for stop, poon for spoon, tea for tree. The next process in this type is final consonant deletion. And that's basically where they're just chopping off the end of the word, right? So a cat for cat, big for big. The third process in this type is initial consonant deletion. And that's basically where they're just chopping the whole head off of the word, right? Some examples of that would be ellie for belly, up for cup, un for sun. The fourth process in this type of phonological processes is syllable reduction. And so basically that's where words have multiple syllables and one of them will be removed. It's usually the one that's unstressed. And let me give you some examples. Pooter for computer, moat for remote, nilla for vanilla. The third type of phonological processes are assimilation processes. I know it sounds violent, but I promise that it's not. It's basically when sounds and syllables blend in with other sounds and syllables in that word. I basically call them ninja processes.
Yeah, ninja.
The first one is reduplication, and that's basically the repetition of a syllable to replace a word. So dada for daddy, wawa for water, baba for bottle. The next one is called assimilation, and that's basically where a consonant will start to sound like another consonant. That's basically cug for cup or mame for name. That one's kind of strange, but you get the picture. The third phonological process in this section is denasalization. And so your kid just pretty much sounds stuffy. Like N and M sounds are replaced with D and G sounds. For instance, baby sounds like maybe. These are the three types of phonological processes. Don't freak out if I didn't mention one that your child may be exhibiting. There are over 25 phonological processes, and I just went over the most common ones. Let me know in the comment section which one your child is experiencing, and like this video if you want me to make a part 2. Thanks. That was the most strugglest. You said I was ready. I was not ready.